Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabe Garrison, our Backwards Pursuit, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the differences between the Initial Ascent Integrous frame, which is their men's frame, and the Invictus frame, which is their ladies' frame. Even though they look very, very similar, there are some design-specific things for the ladies in the Invictus frame, and of course there's some design-specific things for the men in the men's frame. So we're going to look at what those differences are and how they affect the pack system in the build when you're selecting what pack you want to pick with these specific frames. As always, really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Links to that down in the description, as well as a link to our website, backwardspursuit.com. Tons of gear reviews over there as well for you to check out. And I'll put a link to the Initial Ascent packs down in the description for you so you can check them out for yourself. Let's dive into the differences here between these two frame systems. All right, so now some of the differences between these two frames. If you're a lady looking for a hunting pack, you probably are aware that there's not that many out there that are designed for ladies. That's why it's so awesome that Initial Ascent made this pack and designed it specifically for women. They didn't just shorten the torso length like a lot of packs do for the ladies' frames. They made this frame designed for ladies separately than what the one they have here for the men. The differences here, as you can see, as far as just specs, the men's frame here is 25.5 inches long. The ladies is 22.5 inches. So you got a little bit of height difference there. Corresponding with that, the torso length differences are here in the Integrous frame, the Invictus frame for the ladies. The torso length goes from 13 inches up to 17 inches. Where over here on the men's frame, it goes from 18 to 22 inches. So whether you're a man or a woman here, you can be covered by either one of these frames. They do work for either sex, both of them do, but there are some differences here on this ladies' frame that we'll go through in a minute. You have the same number on both of these, the same number of adjustments here for the harness. So you got 6 height adjustments for that harness there. It's the same on both of them. All the other cutouts are pretty much the same with one exception here. Here on the top here, you've got on the men's here, Integrous frame, you've got 3 slots here, whereas you just have 2 on the ladies, and that's partially due to the height difference. Otherwise, you can see the width here. The men's frame is a little bit wider, which is nice because this is not going to be quite, the ladies is not going to be quite as bulky on the ladies out there. So it really was designed for the ladies that way. Another big difference here is the curvature. They went through a bunch of modifications on the Integrous frame here, or in the Invictus frame for the ladies, to modify the curve specifically for ladies. While it's pretty similar, you can see there are some differences, particularly down here. So it's designed to distribute that load for ladies down onto their hips, and does a really good job of that. So that's some of those differences. Weight-wise, there's not much difference here, but there's a little bit. The men's here is going to come in at 21.5 ounces, and the ladies here comes in at 18.3 ounces. So you do have a little bit of a weight savings on the ladies' Invictus frame. Now, depending on which bag and frame combination you select, there may be a slight modification that you have to make if you pick the Invictus frame here from Initial Ascent. All of the bags fit perfectly well on the Integrous frame, the men's frame here, larger one. But if you do select the Integrous or the Invictus frame here, because you have the 2 slots instead of the 3 that are on the larger frame, they may have to make a slight modification to the way the bag fits. So one of these slots is for the load levelers, and then another slot is for either the bag or for the pannier load carrier. So if you have the 2K bag along with the pannier, then you're going to need all 3 slots. And so the way they've done that is they've used one of these gatekeepers here, and so the gatekeeper latches onto the back side of the load leveler. So you can have, with that slight modification with the gatekeeper, you can have the 2K bag with the pannier, the lid, and have the load leveler all work together just fine. That's why we have this one set up right here, and it works great. And it's just a matter of you don't have that 3rd slot here like you've got on the larger frame because the length isn't quite there to make that happen. So keep that in mind. The guys at Initial Ascent will get you all set up if that's the setup you want, like this with the bag, the lid, and the pannier load carrier. Now, both of the frames are made of the same triaxial weave carbon fiber structure in their frame, so there's no difference there. They're very, very rigid. I've packed over 130 pounds on this pack right here. It does a phenomenal job. Same with the ladies. It does a great job of keeping that weight and distributing it well onto your hips. So those are just kind of some of the main differences there. Again, you can see side to side here, there is a little bit of curvature structure between the men's and the ladies' frame. That's why it's so awesome that they made this for the ladies. There's just not a lot out on the market that's specifically made and designed for ladies. So the fact that they took the time to make this for ladies and obviously works for kids and smaller adults as well, for that 13 to 17 inch torso length, it's an awesome option that way. Now, as you can see here on the ladies' frame, these ears don't perfectly line up with the top of the frame right here because the width isn't quite as big. Now, they may make a modification down the road on the lid so that does line up better, but as of right now, as of when we were testing this, that didn't line up perfectly. So the lid isn't hooked on quite as well as the men's, but it still does not go anywhere. It stays in place really, really well. Otherwise, it works exactly the same. There's no other differences really between these two. Same harness, same hip belt, same lumbar pad. You can customize everything. You have the 6 options here for the torso height. So everything is pretty much the same on these packs, other than, of course, the design of the frame, the curvature of the frame, which they made specifically for the ladies in the Invictus, as opposed to the Integris. So really an awesome way to cover both the men's and the women's lineup, and they took the time to build a ladies specific, and kids, works really well for kids as well on the Invictus. So those are the main differences between the Invictus frame for the ladies and the Integris frame for the guys. They pretty much cover everybody from a 13 to 22 inch torso length. So you have a wide range that can be used. Of course, the Invictus frame here can be used for youth or smaller adults as well. But this was really designed as a ladies pack, and they designed the curvature, so it's really going to work well for the ladies. It's awesome that they did that, because there's not a lot of packs out there for ladies that are specifically designed for them. So drop any questions or comments for us. If we can help you out, we sure will. We'll put links to these down in the description for you so you can check them out for yourself. Thanks for watching here today. We'll see you next time.